Hey, it's Dr. Karen Can here, and welcome to another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. This week, I'm talking about interdimensional portals. Now, the portals for sensitive souls has apparently completely opened. And you're like, I have no idea what you're talking about. That is okay. Now, if you're in TOLPAKAN Healing Level 1 and 2, you probably will know what I'm talking about. But let me back up a little bit and share a story about how I found out about these interdimensional portals. These are portals actually on the body, or through the body, if you will. And this was many years ago. There was a client of mine, an older woman, who had the headache of her life. Like, it was the worst headache she had ever experienced. And at the time, she had gone to the emergency room and they had checked her over, did the CAT scan and even the spinal tap, and told her they couldn't find anything wrong with her. So she reached out to me to see if we could figure out what was going on. And what was fascinating is when she said it was the worst headache of her life, as a medical doctor, I said, well, thank goodness you went to the ER because I was concerned about an aneurysm rupturing in her brain, and that could be fatal, right? So they did all the tests they were supposed to do. So I felt comfortable, like, okay, she's been checked over, so I can go ahead and do my work. And what was fascinating was that it wasn't anything that I'd come across before. So what I gathered is that we as humans have these portals that more or less correspond to the acupuncture points on the front and back of the body, the conception vessel and the governing vessel. About 80% of the points are actually acupuncture points. The other 20%, there are extra points. So they more or less correlate, to the governing vessel and the conception vessel, two very, very important central acupuncture meridians in the body. Now, the points were what I got from source were interdimensional portals. In other words, gateways to experiencing other dimensions, if you will. And each point or portal had it's sort of like an access to a different dimension. Now, I still haven't quite figured out how to describe why they're there, except that they're there and we have them. So what was happening with this particular client of mine was all of her portals completely went boom, went wide open suddenly all at once. So she was accessing, the different time space, if you will, of the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, dimensions. And that was not conducive to comfort in the human body at that time. At that time, the ascension energies would not support us, at least in the physical form, to have all of them open. So I thought, okay, now what do I do? So she literally was like, boom, just really, inundated with multidimensional energies that she could not handle. So what I got permission to do for her was that we went ahead and closed the portals that it was inappropriate to be open at that time. So through TOLPAKAN Healing, we created some positive morphic fields or orders, if you will, and we had the instructions to only have the portals open that would be for her highest and greatest good and comfortable for her to tolerate. So most of them were closed, except for the ones that were supposed to be open. And I thought, well, okay, so sudden opening of these interdimensional portals cause some symptoms in a human. So what if we put almost like a governor on the speed with which these open naturally? So we put some instructions in so that almost like a shutter of the old-fashioned camera, like if you're young, you have no idea what I'm talking about, right? But for those of you that are James Bond fans from like the Sean Connery days, right? When they saw him here, there was like a shutter and then he would like point his gun and it was like in the beginning credits. Anyway, so it was one of those things that would open and can close. So we put one of those in etherically, if you will, so that when it was appropriate, it would open the portal to that dimension slowly, slowly, so the person would be less symptomatic. And so when we did that, then this client got rid of her headache and was so grateful because, and so was I, because I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on? So that we could have these new instructions for people. So people that are in TOLPAKAN level 1 and 2 more or less know, how to assess these. It's in our guides and what to do with them in case they come across a situation where the interdimensional portal was too open. However, this past week, all sensitive souls had all their interdimensional portals open because now is the time, ascension related, that it is ready to be open. We have access to our complete multidimensionality, time, space, whatever you want to call it. And for most sensitive souls, it is not going to be symptomatic or maybe briefly symptomatic. In other words, we've come to the place where our dimensional bodies can tolerate that kind of shift. So has this happened to all of humanity? Not so much, but definitely sensitive souls are able to now access all those dimensions. How we're doing it, why we're doing it, there's some time we have to figure that out, but it seems like it's a safe time for this to happen. So what we want to do in our TOLPAKAN Healing Activation today is that we just want to make sure that all the interdimensional portals are aligned in the center line. My understanding from the past and conversations with Source is that that is the best place for them to be, is actually aligned in the center line of our bodies. And not only that, the connectors, the energy connecting all the portals, I call that dimensional fascia. As a medical doctor, I know what fascia is. So to me, in my mind's eye, it looked like fascia, except it was on the dimensional level. So we want to smooth out the dimensional fascia as well. So it's sort of like, having buttons down your shirt. And, if for whatever reason the shirt is made a little askew and it's not even on both sides, the cutting isn't correct, then when you align all the buttons in the center, then it's pulling on one side of the jacket or one side of the shirt, right? So what we want to do is smooth out the fabric, if you will, the dimensional fabric that connects all these and the rest of your body. And that does seem to help with, symptoms and the person's ability to connect in with themselves and not feel like, like they're kind of all over the place, at least dimensionally. And then what we want to do is just recalibrate the dimensional body and then just make sure we restabilize the resonant energy field after this ascension upgrade. So you may or may not have felt anything during this ascension upgrade, or you may have had maybe a mild headache temporarily, things like that. That's the most common symptom that I've come across in the past, but it could be anything. I'm not trying to say that you have to have a symptom. No. In fact, I'm saying that most of you will not have a symptom. Now, some of you may have a symptom because you just needed to know something was going on or it was your role to figure something out, and that is completely okay. But I think the only thing that I noticed personally was that during the nighttime, I didn't sleep as soundly as I normally do. So I think I woke up a number of times, not terribly symptomatic or headachy or anything like that, but just that I woke up and I was like, oh, I'm awake. And then I fell back asleep. So that was the only thing that I noticed. Other people noticed some other disturbances to their everyday routine, but hopefully you didn't have too much. So let's go ahead and do this activation. So if you would like to receive, just go ahead and make the intention to receive the energy activation and healing. And then what we can do is get into stillness together, because that makes it come in faster and also much more smoothly and gracefully. So let's get into the still point or the stillness together. You can go ahead and rub your hands, make it nice and hot. This is the way we just increase the energy flow in the body, just so we can feel it. So if you don't need to do that to feel the energy in your body, you can just, close your eyes and then just feel the energy flow in your hands, the movement. So stillness through observing internal movement. Go ahead and continue closing your eyes. Focus on the inside of your body. Feel the energy moving, anything moving in the body, and then follow the flow. So we'll allow you that for a few seconds here, and just continue doing that while I say the TOLPAKAN Healing Activation. And again, just make the intention to receive if you want to receive. So I now command that your interdimensional portals be fully aligned optimally in the highest and best way. It's now commanded that your dimensional fascia be realigned and smoothed out in the highest and best way. It's now commanded that your dimensional body be fully recalibrated in the highest and best way, and that your resonant energy field be restabilized with ease, speed, and grace, and all timelines where you exist were allowed in the highest and best way. Thank you. All right, so just go ahead and feel the energy in the body. Notice if there's a shift in how you feel. You can open your eyes. I'd love for you to comment underneath this video and let me know how it feels, especially if you're on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, go ahead and click the subscribe button if you haven't already, and the notification bell, so you know every time I do a new video, you'll be notified. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and feel free to share it. And if you did notice some symptoms or something last week that you think is due to this interdimensional portal opening, let me know in the comments below. So some announcements for this week. On Monday's radio show, I have the great pleasure of interviewing Carrie Schmidt. Now, her book coming out is called Behind the Screen, Uncover the Truth, Connect to Your Power, Passion, and Purpose. And you know, she talks about how she sees people that are feeling unfulfilled, unhappy, unloved, alone, feel like you're fighting a losing battle. I know I used to feel this way. And we often lose sight of the power within us. And she's going to be talking about how most of us in the past and a lot of us in the present are seeing life through a foggy screen. So the screen kind of colors everything in our lives based on our past conditioning. It influences how we think, how we feel, how we react to other people. So we're going to be discussing this and her 7-step life timeline system of transformation, the science behind spirituality, connecting to your power and co-creating the life you truly desire. And this is a live show. So if you are watching this video before that date, go ahead and click the link below. Now, if you're watching this video after on Monday, so let me just check, that's the 29th, yeah, you can go ahead and click the link as well because there's a replay. However, if you are live with us, you can also call in live or chat live with us and get some feedback from her, what's going on in your life, some free mini coaching. So join us 12 noon Eastern on Monday's Light Warrior Radio Show. Some announcements on cool stuff, new stuff. We have the Ascension 3 store. So the jewelry that's infused with my frequencies of Ascension 1 and 2, Hidden Night Gem, Flower of Life, and the Schumann Resonance. So it helps with EMF as well. That's closing Monday a.m. at 11. So we're only open 1 week out of every 4 to 6 weeks or so. That's pretty much all we can handle in terms of fulfillment and things like that. So there's a lot of sales. If you have not gone to the store, it is closing Monday, so go ahead and make your purchase now. Especially remember to get your 3R formula because that one's really, really helpful to support you. And that's the only supplement at this time that I actually create. So also the Healthy Habits, Healthy Life video, the last in the series, has to do with food blessing. So you can see how we do food blessing and actually live results, a video of what I did live using the pendulum. So you can see the before and after, that really, really fun. Also, I was recently at the LifeWave convention, and the LifeWave convention was, as per usual, very exciting, but it's not a bunch of network marketing rah-rah. We really got training, and what I love probably the most is David Schmidt's science talks, right, about his innovations. Now, one of the things that he is creating is a water machine. The water machine, which is not commercially available yet, the water machine creates water that is alive and can resonate with certain frequencies of the body depending on the setting. And we saw some incredible results of what it can do in the lab. And there's going to be a new product rolling out in November. We'll talk more about that closer to the time of that pre-launch. But the really cool thing is one of the patches that we were released earlier in the year, the X49. One of the things we know that X49 does is it activates AHK, copper peptide, in your own body. So it helps you make more of that. That activates specific stem cells. One of those stem cells is actually bone. So I was really hoping that they would do a study on bone density. And so I was super excited that Dr. Caitlin O'Connor, wow, you know, her credentials are this long, so I'm not even going to say it. So I think Oxford, and anyway, so she actually shared the study results, which was pretty fascinating. So this is a pilot study, so a very small study. Now they're going to do the double blind, but the pilot study showed that the bone density was supported, and that's what we can say live and in public, with this the use of this patch. So it's very, very promising. And so if it were me and I had issues with my teeth, my bones, something like that, I would definitely, in addition to, you know, living a good lifestyle and having enough food, right, and protein and things like that, I would definitely use the X39, X49 combination to activate the stem cells in my body. The X39, we know, actually gets 1/3 of your DNA back to a younger, healthier state. Like, duh, like, wow. You know what I mean? I don't know anything else that does that. So definitely, if you're interested in stem cells, don't want to pay the $25,000 to get stem cells injected, which has all sorts of problems associated with it, including it not working, I would definitely check out the X39, X49 phototherapy patch combination. And I'll put my distributor link below this video in case you're interested in checking it out. And yeah, so wow. And there's more to come. There's more to come with LifeWave and more interesting tech. Like I said, we have a new product coming out in November, which is very interesting. We got to trial that. So I'll let you know what my results are later. And also some humanitarian stuff that David is rolling out. In fact, he's like our modern day Iron Man. Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's Spiritual Medicine Digest. I look forward to chatting with you next week, and make sure you comment below and let me know what you think of the video and the activation, and we'll see you next time. Lots of love. Mwah. Bye for now.